Hi, my name is DelmarshaeWalker. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is doing great today. I came across a video where it was talking about you can just eat anything you want. It's fine. All food is good food as long as the food is not spoiled, as long as the food doesn't have any toxin. You can eat whatever you want to eat and not feel guilty. I feel that pushing that information is just so wrong. And the person that's doing it, she works for companies that manufacture junk food, sugary food, unhealthy food. So she's doing it to make money for her company, make money for herself. So I understand why they're pushing that narrative that any food, even unhealthy food, is good for you and you can eat it without feeling guilty.
I got us donuts. Those are so bad for you. Oh no, are they moldy? I mean, are they poisoned? Are you allergic? No, I'm just saying. You're judging my food choices based on a false standard of health again, aren't you? Guilty.
Diet culture, fat phobia, and systems of oppression have created false hierarchies of food, and it shows up everywhere.
For instance, harmful thought patterns like earning food through exercising, or that dessert is the reward for the punishment of eating vegetables.
Remember that you do not need to earn food.
We are all incorrectly taught from a young age that our size, and therefore the foods that we eat, are markers of our self-worth. Moralizing food can lead to harmful relationships with food and disordered eating.
Instead of focusing on good and bad choices, try to approach food with neutrality in mind.
The only foods that are bad for you are foods that contain allergens, poisons, and contaminants, or food that is spoiled or is otherwise inedible.
Eat without guilt, regardless of what society says.
Which is that part of her job description is, quote, innovation opportunities and driving the scientific evidence strategy to promote brands and support the business. As in, to use her, quote, black nutritionist label to try and normalize amongst this growing movement the idea that there's no such thing as good and bad food.
In this country, approximately 75% or higher are overweight and very unhealthy. And so that information should not be put out there, and people should not consume that information to kind of justify why they are unhealthy, why they are overweight. So I'm going to share that video with you now.
Obesity in America. It's something we don't like talking about, but it's hard to ignore. Let's face it, we're getting fat. In fact, it's so bad, some call it an epidemic. But these are the facts. America's obesity has not doubled, it's tripled in the past 50 years. The CDC defines obesity as anyone with a body mass index over 30. In the 1960s, that was only about 14% of our population, but today, it's closer to 40%. At 33%, Texas ranks 14th when it comes to obesity in our country. But why is it so bad to be overweight? Well, it's dangerous. The census says the two primary drivers of mortality are smoking and obesity. It can increase your risk of diabetes, heart disease, even pancreatic, liver, and thyroid cancers. The most unfair part of this, it's not equal among everyone. Those with low income and less education were more likely to experience obesity. But with almost 72% of Americans being overweight, it's an issue we need to tackle today.
I mentioned before in other videos, like, I do not like the term politically correct because I think that limits you from being honest and speaking the truth. I don't believe in being rude to people. I don't believe in being disrespectful to people. I don't believe in bullying people. But when you're giving out information that's correct, even if a person don't like hearing it, that doesn't make you a mean person. That doesn't make you a bully. As long as you're not going directly to someone and you're in their face and you're, being rude to them, disrespectful to them, or just plain out being mean to them. As long as you're not doing that and you're just in general putting out correct information, that being overweight is not a good thing, is very unhealthy. As a woman, your waistline should be less than 35 inches. As a man, your waistline should be less than 40 inches. You can also Google BMI, which is body mass index. That will allow you to see what weight range you fall within. You don't want to be underweight as well as overweight. I think we conflict because of the word body shaming or fat shaming. I think that takes away the responsibility of the person to think about the food they eat and kind of put it on another person. Because if you're saying, hey, being fat is unhealthy, it's like, oh, you're fat shaming. If you say being overweight is unhealthy, oh, you're fat shaming, when you're really not doing that. So that's why I feel that certain words should be taken out. And, because me, a person being 215 pounds and losing that weight, I know how it feels to be on both ends. I know people talked about me when I was overweight, and people talked about me when I was underweight. I was called skinny. I was told I had a bobble head because my head looked bigger than my body. I was told that I needed to eat and gain weight. So I know how it feels to be insulted, being overweight, being fat, and being called fat and everything like that. And I also know what it feels like to be a smaller size and people still talking about you. So that is what I went through on both ends, is being mean, being disrespected. So I don't believe in that. But if a person says, hey, being overweight, you can end up getting high blood pressure. Being overweight can lead to heart disease. Being overweight can lead to you becoming a diabetic, or it can lead to certain cancers. That is a fact. That's not bullying. That's not being mean. That's not doing anything but presenting truthful information. The same information if you went to your doctor and say, hey, what can happen to me if I'm overweight? Oh, I'm overweight. What am I looking at? What do I need to change to become healthier? And they will tell you. That's the same information. It's just presenting facts to you. And so a lot of times I feel that people don't want to take responsibility for themselves and what they put in their mouth. And if society don't agree with them, then they're looking at, oh, you just don't like me because I'm overweight, or you have a problem with me being overweight. It's not true. Especially, like I said, it's a difference between being bullied for being overweight and someone presenting factual information that has to do with your weight. I feel that everyone should be confident in who they are. I feel that everyone should be proud of who they are. That's on one hand, but being confident doesn't have anything to do with your health. Being confident is just being okay with who you are as an individual. Being healthy is something totally different. And I think those two things are being conflated when people say, oh, I'm overweight, but I'm confident in who I am as a person. I'm okay with being overweight. That's one thing. If you okay with being overweight and someone says that's not healthy, they're not trying to knock your confidence. You can be overweight and be as confident as you want to be, but that person, if it's someone that you know and someone that loves you and care about you, and they're saying, okay, be as confident as you want to being overweight, but also be healthy. Those are two different things. And I think a lot of times when a person is overweight and a person says to them, hey, you need to lose weight. Oh, I'm confident in who I am. Great, but you're still unhealthy. So those are two different, I think those are two different things. And I don't feel that anyone should, confidence should be knocked. But at the same time, if someone is presenting information as far as what is healthy and what's not healthy, that's not trying to knock your confidence. That's not trying to make you feel bad about who you are as a person. The final decision will always be yours. If you want to be healthy or unhealthy, that final decision will always be that individual person's decision to make. And I think we need to kind of pull back and think about why we eat food. Why do our bodies need food? We're bombarded with all these videos of people cooking food, food porn and everything like that. And it's always a big amount of food. It's always like cakes and just, I watch it sometimes. I can admit I do have a food addiction, and it can be triggering to me sometimes watching these things, because it puts in my mind, oh, I want that. I know how it would make me feel once I start eating that. But I think we should kind of pull back and look at why we as individuals need to eat food. And I'm going to share some information with you.
Have you heard that growl in your stomach and craved to eat food? And other times didn't have an appetite, but was advised that you had to eat. But why do we have to eat food? We need to eat food to get energy, nutrients, vitamins, and minerals for our body to function properly. Different foods give us a variety of nutrients. Some foods have more nutrients than others. Foods like bread are good sources of carbohydrates which give us energy. Beans and meat are good sources of protein which help to build our muscles. Avocados, butter, and cheese are good sources of fat which give us energy, great for cell growth, and keep us warm. Fruits and vegetables have lots of vitamins and minerals which play hundreds of roles, such as supporting the immune system, healing cuts, and helping with healthy skin and hair. Water is also important to keep hydrated and help transport nutrients to the body. So next time you are about to eat, now you know why.
Well, when you decide, hey, I want to start eating better, I want to be healthier, think about the type of food that you're buying. A lot of people buy prepackaged food because it's quicker, it's easier. You know, you can just get it, pop it in the microwave, pop it in the stove or air fryer, and it's easier to, prepare, consume, and everything like that. But those are the worst foods that you can eat because they're high in sugar, they're high in sodium, they have preservative, and things that are not good for your body. So if you're focusing on what my body needs as far as nutrition, those prepackaged foods are not good. Junk food provides you with absolutely no nutrition at all. So if you're sitting around eating junk food, your body is not getting the basic minerals, vitamins, and protein that it needs to truly function at its highest potential. So you want to kind of stay away from those stay away from those types of food and eat more natural food that's going to provide you with the nutrition that your body needs to function in the way that it should, that you should function. Once you start losing weight, once you start eating healthier food, you will see a change in not only the way your body starts to look, you will also see a change in the way your body starts to feel. You will see the way your mind starts, because sometimes eating the wrong food can cause depression, can make you feel depressed. So once you start getting the right food, the right nutrition into your body is going to start feeling much better than it did when you was eating junk food, when you was eating unhealthy food. And so that's why it's important to kind of really think about the stuff that you're eating.
According to a new study, eating 10% more of what's known as ultra-processed foods is associated with a significant increase in overall cancer risk. And so Dr. Jen Ashton is here, and nutritionist Maya Feller is here as well. Thank you both. So break down the study.
Okay, so this was a study done in France, and what it showed is that people who ate highly processed foods had a 10% higher risk of all types of cancer. If they ate 10% more of this ultra-processed foods in their overall diet, 12% overall risk in cancer, and 11% overall increased risk in breast cancer. Now, here come the caveats, and it's really important on this study to read between the lines here. Number one, we talk about relative risk versus absolute risk. The numbers I just gave are relative risk. You want to know how many more cases of breast cancer per 10,000, per 100,000. The study did not break that down. And like so many studies that we all talk about here, this study was based on association, not cause and effect. And until we can connect those dots, we have to interpret the results with caution.
Big difference there. But all that being said, sometimes we think we're doing the right thing and we don't realize that it's processed, ultra processed.
Right. So one of the things I want to say to everyone is that you have to understand that ultra processed is processed food, right?
Okay.
We're talking about foods that have added sugars, salts, fats, preservatives, fillers, gums, added colors and flavors. Things like, these fruity yogurt drinks or sodas and, energy drinks with lots of color. Some things that might be surprising, we're looking at, packaged muffins and baked goods, deli meats.
Deli meats?
Yeah, deli meats, refined breads, instant soups. Those all fall into the category of ultra processed.
It's really anything with a shelf life, right?
Exactly.
Anything that can live on a shelf for a long period of time.
That's always a sign.
Exactly.
That's why organic, it expires so quickly, but it's better for you. All right, so tell us why these types of foods could be linked to cancer.
Well, again, in the study, they didn't explain that from a biologic or scientific standpoint, but there are some theories. And if you look at them, it's a long list. These foods tend to be less nutritious overall. They tend to have, like Maya was saying, a ton of food additives, chemicals that you can't even pronounce. They are packaged and they are processed. So what I tell my patients, what Maya tells her clients, eat from the farm, not the factory. If you can't recognize it as its true food form, that's a real clue that it's processed or ultra processed.
Eat from the farm, not the factory, y'all.
There you go.
Eat from the farm, not the factory, y'all.
That's right.
All right, that's it.
I can get with that.
Well, part of the reason why it's so convenient. It's cheap, it's convenient. So what are some ways that we can save some money and save some time more?
Okay, so one of the things that I always tell people is shop the perimeter of the grocery store, right? That's where you're going to find your fresh goods. I also like to encourage people to get to know your food and also know your nutrition facts labels. You need to be able to identify what is whole and minimally processed in comparison to what is ultra processed. The other thing is get back to your kitchen, cook at home. You know what I mean? Okay, I understand people are busy, but what you can do is you can buy pre-cut meats and vegetables.
Some shortcuts.
Yeah, absolutely. They just have to not have the additives that, the ultra processed foods have. And it's also okay to try prepared foods at the grocery store, like grilled chicken or grilled vegetables, even some of these healthier salads that have things like legumes are going to be full of fiber, vitamins, and minerals.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Basically, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Always check the description box. Sometimes I put additional information there. Once again, I'm not, bashing anyone. I know how it feels to be overweight. I know how it feels to be unhealthy. And I know how it feels once I started losing weight and I became healthier. And I do feel a difference in my body. I do feel a difference in my overall mentality. And sometimes, you experience chronic illness that has a lot to do with the type of food you eat and your body being overweight and all this extra weight that you're putting on, the stress that you're putting on your body to carry this extra weight. So once again, I'm saying this in love. It's not anything to make anyone feel bad. Always be confident. Always have confidence in who you are as a person, but understand being confident in who you are as a person has nothing to do with your health. You should always strive to be as healthy as you can as an individual, and because you want to have a great quality of life as well as a long life. So once again, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.